Hey guys, this is my Photoshop tutorial. What I'm gonna do right now is just gonna open up Photoshop. But on a quick side note, here's what I use. I use Comet Bird generally, Google Chrome. This is my pretty much to protect my computer. I scan my computer every week or 2 weeks, sometimes once a month if I'm just lazy. But yeah, TeamViewer to view other people's screens, BitTorrent for the obvious. Fruity Loops making music, Steam. This is pretty much games. I like to categorize my shit. Like for example, useless shit, except for recycling bin. Converting files and video recording, which is what I'm using right now. We got YouTube. That's something I'm working on. Yeah. Specky. What did I just do? I just jerked Steam somewhere. Anyway, I'll deal with that later. Let's go into Photoshop. Alright, now as you can see, what I did to get this open was, I'll just cancel it. I did File, New, or you could just do Control N, but I generally use File, New. This is custom, pretty much. This is the resolution right here, width and height in pixels. That's how you do proper resolution. So if you're gonna do your YouTube channel, whatever, do pixels, not inches. Unless if you're a genius, then go for it. Resolution, pretty much how many pixels per inch, as it says there. What the hell? Go away. We got RGB, which is just, red, green, blue, and the rest of that I don't really use, I just use RGB. Background contents, white, obviously. Or you could choose a color, like red or something. Or you could do transparent if you're just making like a meme picture or something like that. That's generally what I see a lot of transparent being used for nowadays. But I'm going to use US paper today, which is 8.5, 11, 300, whatever. So yeah, let's open that up. Alright, as you can see, that. What you can do with that now is you can pretty much anything you like. This, you use that for moving around pictures. Here, so I'll use this when I'm working on later. And I'll just put that in there. The anonymous logo. Pretty much, now when you drag in a picture like this, it'll be like, you can size it like this, whatever. I have no idea really what this does, so I just leave it in the middle. You don't really need to fiddle with that either, I don't think. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna put it about that size. A little bit pixely, but that's not what I'm gonna be doing with that image later. You use this right here when I'm clicking, and you move it around. It's pretty good at lining up pictures with other pictures. If I put in another picture, for example, I'll drag in another one. And we'll just not even bother resizing it. Yeah, and it'll lock to the other picture if it's, if it seems like it could lock. Photoshop's pretty smart at doing that. And yeah, anyway, we'll get rid of that picture because I don't really need it. Now we have this. What should I go through this? Pretty much you can use that. You could click this again and drag the, oh, what? Maybe, let me figure this out. Oh, I know. Sometimes when you drag in a picture to a new file, it says, like, you can't really edit it. What I do to get rid of that, paintbrush, bam, it's gone. Anyway, yeah, so you can, like, cut it out. Let's not do that. Control Z, undo. Right click, deselect, gets rid of that. But yeah, generally you can do that, move it around, whatever. And go back to this, right click, deselect. or select inverse, which pretty much I'll show you what that does. Select inverse selects everything around it. You could do refine edge, that's pretty much to fix up pixels and all that. Same with feather, like if it looks really awful, I would use that. Save selection so you can load a selection later. Layer via copy. So pretty much if you make a new layer, you can copy it onto the next layer. Layer via cut, which is pretty much, you know, obviously nothing was selected, but if you click that, it'll just make a new layer. New layer is self-explanatory. Free transform, pretty much just like, here I'll show you that right now actually. If you go into edit, transform, that's pretty much all it does. Free transform is all these put together and it looks really stupid. The ones you're probably going to mostly use is scale, rotate, and maybe warp. I've used distort a couple times, but not very often. Or you'll use these or these. That's pretty much that. Puppet warp, well, I'm not even going to go into that because ultimately it's useless most of the time. Because you have this and you can just do whatever. But anyway, so you got this. What can we do? Lasso is just another selection, much like this. And pretty much you can just do that, draw that, bam, you got something selected. There's also choices for that, same with this one. But like I said, it's pretty basic, you just select. Same with all of them, as you can see. This one's good for just making lines, but anyway. And this one's just vertical. Right here, lasso, like I was saying, you got lasso tool, which is just pretty much free, whatever. You got the, what's it called again? Polygonal lasso tool, which is pretty much, if you watch, it does straight lines. And just bring it back, deselect. We got the magnetic lasso tool, or, well, yeah, that's what it's called, which pretty much you can just, sorry, that was a really bad example. You stick it to the image, like here, and it'll actually form towards it. You'll probably use this one more often, or the next one that I'm about to show you, to select certain parts. We got the quick selection tool and the magic wand. Magic wand selects everything that you click. You pretty much, my tips to anybody who likes to Photoshop, play around with it until it looks good. There is no real way of going about it because it is your project. But anyway, quick selection tool, it's pretty good. See, I just selected around it and a little extra there, not on purpose, but anyway. Oh, yeah, and tips. You got these things up here, same with these. Well, maybe not that one. Same with these? No? Okay. Well, you got these up here, or you could quickly go to it with Shift and Alt. That was not Alt. And Alt will minus it, generally. Like, here, I'll select this. See? And that's me holding down Alt, or I could just go up here and click that. We also got this, right, like I showed you previously. Make a selection, click down Alt, the minus pops up beside the lasso. As you can see there, if you look at the icon, you make this, whatever, gets rid of it. And that's the same with all of them. Shift is plus, Alt is minus. It's simple. Down here, what is this? Crop tool. It's the same as any crop tool. You guys should know this. Slice tool. Well, you don't really have to use that. Just these up here. This eyedropper, pretty much. There you go. Makes the color there, whatever you click. See, as it's changing. Down here. Got the healing tool. Now, a lot of people think that if they watermark their stuff And I know I'm not supposed to really say this, but I am, because a lot of people don't realize that watermarking doesn't actually help keep your product or picture, whatever, safe. Because when you have the healing brush, watch. Actually, it'd probably be better if I just quickly Google search up watermarked. I don't even know what you are. Get rid of that. Watermark. Oh, I know. One that I commonly use. Parchment paper. This will be good. Good example. Let's go with this one. Now, like I was saying with watermark, it doesn't really help at all. Because watch this. See, I'm on healing tool, right? Watch. Where's your watermark now? It's not going to do anything. Generally, just click on it, it goes away. See? Watermark, useless. There's no point. That's why generally if I release something I don't watermark it. Or I do just to piss someone off, to make it harder to take. But anyway, yeah, like I was saying, I could use this in the picture to show you steps later. Edit, transform, scale. See, I scaled it so it fits the whole thing. Click this, drag it over top, bam, picture's over top. I know it looks really stupid now, but anyway. What were we on? We just did the healing brush, here's the paintbrush. It's the same as paint. What a surprise. Now, when you click Control Z, right, look at that spot right there on the icon. If you just keep clicking it, it won't get rid of all of this. You need to click Control Alt Z, and then bam, everything's leaving. Like you have to constantly click it. Anyway, it's all pretty much the same as paint. If you haven't used paint, go use it. It'll be the easiest thing to do. Clone stamp, don't really use it. Don't need to. It's that history brush. It's the same as the paintbrush, but it's more like designs, like, yeah. Up here you got how thick you want the brush, which is the same for everything, which I should have went into on the healing brush, but anyway, like I was saying, you could load more, like, people have made previously different brushes that you can use. I'm not going to go into that though. Well, actually, might as well. I don't really use brushes though, because that's more for like, you know, posters, unless if I'm going to make a cool poster. Eraser tool, self-explanatory. Gradient tool. This was the gradient I was using previously to make my YouTube background, but anyway. Bam. It just does that. Go into here, you can edit it, make it different colors. I don't use it on here, obviously. Smudge tool. Smudge tool is really good if you just have like a little bit of pixels sticking out, whatever. Because it just kind of, here, I'll resize it so you can see what I mean by pixels and how you can fix them. Oh, the paintbrush is that. But anyway, see, it kind of looks pixely. Generally, when you cut something, right? Like for example, if I quick select this and then I cut it out, right? It kind of looks pixely. Smudge tool is kind of good, but keep in mind it's noticeable in some cases depending on what did you smudge. But anyway, bring up the size of it and just watch. See, it kind of moves it around. Obviously I'm not making this a good example because I'm just going back and forth, but generally, let it load because, yeah, generally you just go along it, along the sides, and you're good. Yeah. Anyway, we'll just undo all that. There. Deselect. We got the dodge tool, burn tool. Dodge tool? What does the dodge tool do? I haven't really gotten into that. Oh, color dodge, I guess. Kind of what it is. Burn tool. I don't know what that does. Seems to be kind of clearing up the pixels a little bit. Whatever. Pen tool, very hard to use. I suggest a lot of you don't go into it. Because look at that. That looks ridiculous. How can you use that? I don't know how to get rid of it. Text tool, text. You know, you got your fonts up here, all the way down. You can figure that out on yourself because, you know, like I said earlier, it's really about what you can do with it and what you think looks cool and what you think other people will think look cool. Anyway, there you go. There's my and yeah. That's just, you know, cursor. I think it moves it around. I don't even know. I don't use it. Now, when you right click a layer, I'm going to delete this layer because it's pointless. Or you could just click the delete button on your keyboard. Alright, but anyway. Right, now I got this. Right, now watch this. Right click, you go into here. You got blending options. You can like drop shadows, etc. Here, I'll show you on this one first actually. Because I was going to do something else with the parchment paper. Anyway, so you got all this, right? Blending options, layer properties, whatever, but I was going to show you. Oh, and then this is like if you're going to merge layers, for example, they're merged, whatever. You got merge visible, flatten image, it's pretty much like it does what a JPEG does, it merges all the layers, but anyway, blending options. Now just watch the edges. I know it looks really gross, but who cares? It's a tutorial. You got drop shadow, right? And if you go to the drop shadow, sometimes when you just click it, like the checkbox, it doesn't go to it. But if you go to drop shadow, you bring up the opacity, bring it down. That'll make it seem like more transparent or not. Change this to normal. Multiply doesn't really do much, but yeah. Angle, you can change the angle. I'm going to bring up the size a lot. See? Now it looks more like it's a shadow. You got spread. Now it looks awful. You got distance. I'll leave it like that just because it's ridiculous. Inner shadow does more of like a, well, exactly as it says, an inner shadow. It's kind of good for making it look like it's in a phone screen, or there's like a box frame that comes up around it. But anyway, outer glow just makes it glow on the outside. See? A glow. Inner glow, glow on the inside. Oh wow, that looks so good. Anyway, oh, here's what I was talking about earlier. See, it's not going to it. Right, so you have to click this, not the checkbox. Unless if you already had, like, you know, settings on previously, but you should all figure that out on your own. You got size. You know, it pretty much gives it kind of a 3D effect. Soften to fix the pixels. Angle for the obvious. These are layer styles, but I'll get into that when I talk about the parchment paper. Contour just kind of gives it more of a sharper look. And go bring up the range, bring it down, whatever. Texture adds texture to it, that kind of looks cool. I use this texture a lot, or this one, just to kind of give it that, well, texture. Satan darkens the picture. You can change the contour of it, which is like, you know, make it look sharper or make it look absolutely stupid. Got opacity, bring down the opacity. You can change the color to like say red, and now, bam, now all the white's red. Anyway, that kind of looks cool. Yeah, most of it you'll find is just you fiddling with it. Color overlay, choose any color, I'll choose blue, whatever. Bring it down, the opacity. See, now it's got more blue, made it darker, but bad example, whatever. Gradient overlay, same as color overlay, except it's gradient. Just covers the picture, bring down the opacity. Can't do that right now. And yeah, but we're not going to use that because it looks stupid. Yeah. Pattern overlay, it's same as the texture, but for those that want to see, it goes over the same, or over the whole picture. You could use that to like kind of blend together when we go into layer styles. But anyway, stroke. I have noise added to that, don't I? No, I don't. Anyway, stroke kind of looks like that. It's the same as drop shadow, except it's thicker. It's good for a lot of things. We'll leave it like that. Okay. Now, as you can see here, there's a bunch of eyes. You just click them. They go away. What effects you did. Here's that color overlay like I was talking about earlier. Anyway. Turn them all on. Or turn them all off. Or you can click here, turn off, turn on, light switch. What you got here, bring this on top. Layer styles, I use parchment paper a lot. It's one of my favorites to use. I generally use color burn, but here's what they all do. Dissolve, nothing. For this image, you know, you gotta play with it. Darken, darkens some areas, whatever. Well, most of the time it brings out the picture behind it, or whatever. Multiply, gives it kind of a tint from the picture. Color burn, that's what I like. I use it in a lot of horror pictures if I make a horror picture. You know, just fun stuff. Got linear burn, pretty much the same, keeps this image in the back a lot of the time. Darker color, well, you know. Lighten, pretty much, if you if you can't tell yet, look, see, it just pretty much takes over this picture, I guess I would say. Screen, now you can kind of see the border of it. Color dodge, this is another fun one to do. I do in a lot of pictures, kind of looks like fire actually. Linear dodge, nah. Lighter color, overlay, kind of gives it that tint on the outsides and on certain colors. But yeah, you could play around with the rest of it, because, you know, like I said, play around with it. Moves it around, I think. This one, no. I don't use that much. Colors, self-explanatory. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up the tutorial. Like I always say, play around with Photoshop. And just pretty much, yeah. Oh, I guess there's a little bit more that I could go into. We got image, you go to image size, you could still change the image. You could constrain properties, which pretty much, watch. That is not what I was going to click. See, and that'll change it. But if you take that off, you got that, and you could change both of them. And that'll pretty much just change the size. For example, I'll do 800 by 800, which is the YouTube main picture resolution, I think it was. and then I'll change it all the way down to that, which looks really stupid. Hey, there's the stupid pen tool. Other things you could do, adjustments, just play around with it if you want to go into that. Mode, grayscale, you could still change the mode. Image rotation, it's pretty much, where'd that go? Well, it's pretty much the same as, playing around with edit transform. Canvas size, this will actually cut into the picture, so don't use it. Just pretty much use image size if you have to fix your image resolution. Or just restart the whole project and then just drag the picture into a new thing and then just edit scale, resize, whatever. We already went through that. Layer, new fill layer, you can do, yeah, but you hardly ever use it, just use edit most of the time. But yeah, layer, fill, solid color just fills the layer up. Layer mask, oh, I forgot to go into that. If I go into this, right, FX is just that, right, whatever on it already. But if you click this, it adds a mask. Go into, where's the brush? Oh, there, okay. Now black, I gotta bring the brush up. Black we'll take out, which I have the opacity really low. If you change the opacity, there, see? But if you choose white, it brings it back. So don't worry about making mistakes when playing with the opacity. That was layer mask. For example though, I'll show you something cool that I like to do. Take down the opacity, and you could take out certain little things. Like, well, make it look lighter so it kind of looks different, but yeah. The more you click on it, the more the opacity doubles. So pretty much 19, 19, 19, over and over again. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much my Photoshop tutorial wrap up. We'll go into this the next one, or you guys could just ask me what you want me to talk about. Anyway, have a good day. See you guys.